It'll leave a bad taste in your mouth because this is Slashers, a horror movie podcast brought to you by two goons. I'm not going to do that line. I realized when I was listening to the Lost Boys one, like, we watch movies you've already seen so you don't have to. And it's like, well, I don't have to see it because I've already seen it. And I realized that that's the joke, but I feel like people are dumb and they're not going to get it. And they're going to be like, wait, what?
I almost feel like we need to come up with a different catchphrase every single week.
Yes. Okay. That's a fun challenge. Also, my mind is racing and I'm sad. This is Slashers.
Jake's going to be going to sleep at night. Totally
Shit. Two goons who
have a positive attitude.
Yeah. One is cool but rude, and the other dude's a party dude. Huh? Teenage? Okay, cool.
Cheers to that.
Awesome. So this is a unique episode. We are going to be having a guest joining us in mere moments. X Robbie Hart X, which ties into our Wednesday warm-up. I thank you very much if you watch those on our IGTV, which is super dope. I think we get actually more viewers on that on some episodes than the episodes themselves. So that's saying something.
Yeah, basically we got to keep going with them.
Yeah, and pretty much we should just stop watching bad movies. I think that's the big takeaway is, hey, maybe less 30-year-old movies and more playful banter.
I agree with that a little bit, but I also feel like you should at least watch it once.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just to kind of see what happens. I mean, especially with what I had to endure yesterday, where I thought we were watching Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, but apparently we're watching Return of the Killer Tomatoes. And my God, was that a dumpster fire?
Yeah.
At one point, I turned around to Michelle and I was like, I have no idea what to talk about. I don't know. I'm just going to keep quiet and twiddle my fucking thumbs for an hour and a half.
Yeah, man. I remember watching Attack of the Killer Tomatoes based on Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, the cartoon show. And that was a big mistake. As a kid, when you're like, what? Like, you know how sometimes when you're a kid, you're like, oh, things are happening. I clearly don't understand it, but the story is moving.
But it's still kind of fun. Yeah. Absolutely. But then as an adult, when you're super fucking pissed off at everything and you overthink things and you're like, this wasted my time.
You're never getting back.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, it was really bad. It would just cut back and forth between different characters. Made no sense. The best part of the film happened within the first 10 minutes, I think, where a helicopter spins out of control.
Completely unplanned.
I thought so.
It's an accident, yeah.
Because it goes down fucking hard.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like they cut away at all.
No.
And like, I feel like some people could have probably died.
Yeah, it's bad. This is a bad injury.
That's awesome.
The best part of the I guess trailer for the second one, Return of the Killer Tomatoes, is that they just shit on the first one the entire time.
Absolutely.
Like, the first one is so bad. How bad is it? Well, it's so bad we're redoing it.
Yeah, and it's funny because they include a lot of the throwback of the original kind of as like filler, which is really kind of
a faux pas.
I don't know. I feel like it's smart.
Well, they make fun of it. So you get the best of both worlds that way. One, you get the practical element of being able to have it at a cheap price. And then two, by making fun of it, you admit, yeah, it's hacky, but it works.
Agreed.
So let's compare. Brian, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes versus Return of the Killer Tomatoes.
Okay.
And then compare that to Evil Dead versus Evil Dead 2.
Oh, man. Okay. Well,
which improves better?
No contest, right?
Yeah. See, because I'm a firm proponent that Evil Dead 1 is better than Evil Dead 2. And a lot of people want to argue with me, and they're wrong.
Well, I mean, people should already know that Jake's a lawyer. He does this for a living. So you will probably get proven wrong.
I will argue with you about the basis of existence and convince you that you don't exist, and then you will cease to be. Yeah. And this little poof will be heard by no one, and your significance will be nil.
I'm just glad Jake hasn't gotten in an argument with me over how I should become a vegan and stop drinking, because I enjoy both of those things, eating meat and drinking beer. So
he says beer in hand. So on the topic of beers in hand, let's introduce our guest. No beers present because he is a straight edge doofus just like myself.
Womp.
Oh, get bent. Dude,
I'm outnumbered.
My wife is not straight edge. So this is my first straight edge guest. This is the only other person who can feel my plight. His name is Robbie. Robbie, say hello to the mutant goons from beyond.
Hello, mutant goons from beyond.
So, Brian, did you realize that I was stealing that moment from you to give to him?
No, that's cool, man. Yeah, whatever.
He's just mad he's outnumbered.
Oh yeah,
well,
it's fucking youth crew. We're gonna get our revenge.
You're just gonna beat the shit out of me and
Project X, bitch. It's straight X revenge.
Stop drinking so much, asshole. Boom.
We're just gonna follow everything with X's.
Yeah, exactly. So let me ask you this, Robbie. Have you ever beaten the fuck out of somebody for drinking? Because I have never done it, because I imagine that when somebody gets sucker punched, their instinct is to have another beer, not have another beer.
I have not. I have never done anything of the sort.
I don't know. I just imagine you guys roll around with a bunch of hate breed going on in the background.
Why would it be hate breed? Hate breed's not even straight edge.
I thought Jamie Jasper was fucking straight edge.
Yeah, but
he's thumbless.
They're not.
He's so mean.
Is he really?
He doesn't have a thumb.
Oh, no, that's awful.
It's the Once you've seen it, you can't unsee it.
So he's not straight edge. He just doesn't have thumbs. That makes sense.
He can't twist off the top of the bottle,
okay.
The beer bottle.
Sorry about that.
I mean, being from Connecticut, there's a lot of hate breed going around.
Oh, that's true. Dark and true.
Ooh.
Tiki torches and polo shirts.
Good.
So, Robbie, you had suggested that we do Return of the Killer Tomatoes. Why?
Because this movie is ridiculously hilarious and ridiculously good. I don't know about all this banter about it being a dumpster fire.
No. That was Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, which I watched unbeknownst of me not knowing that we were doing part 2. I thought it was part 1. So I got off work early, went home, opened a cold beer, and proceeded to watch Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, which was fucking atrocious.
You mean you loved it?
Oh, come on. It was so bad. Like, within 20 minutes, I didn't know what to do. I honestly was shrugging, like, the entire movie, like, looking around aimlessly, like, I don't know what the fuck to do here.
And it's sad because you don't even get the anthropomorphic, like, faced tomatoes until... Is it the next one, or is it they eat France?
Is it France?
I think it's France. It's France.
Yeah. Oh, let's ask the tomato expert.
There we go.
I think I'm a tomato expert.
He's always self-proclaimed vegan guy, but let's ask this guy. How does it feel to be made fun of for your love of tomatoes?
Oh, there's gonna be part of this where I'm just gonna rip into you later on.
Hey, I have a couple a cachet of armaments against you. Fuck boy.
Oh boy. I can only imagine this.
Oh, this is gonna be fun and terrible. Also, so we are still recording video for some reason, even though YouTube and Warner Brothers hates us, flipping off Warner Brothers.
Fuck you guys.
So if it looks like I'm talking to this box for Don't Get Stabbed, our friend's Kickstarter game, it's because I've stashed my phone discreetly behind it.
At least they won't slam us with copyright.
Seriously. I think they owe us something. Let's be like, hey man, when you've hit it big and you're Milton Bradley, why don't you send a couple bucks our way?
Yeah, I mean, fuck, have you looked at their page? They brought in a good amount. Yeah. I think it's like almost at 10 grand as far as their Kickstart.
Fucking finder's fee, am I right?
I mean, we kind of nudged it along, at least.
Pretty polite. We broke into the YouTube game just for them. So that's cool. So the reason that we're having Robbie on is because we did a contest to have guests who are fans, because we love our fans and we're surprised that we even have them. So we're entrapping them and all of their friends to listen to our bullshit little show.
Yeah, we love the interaction.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised. I'm a fan too. Don't worry.
Yeah. So we have Skatey B, who also won. We'll be doing Pumpkinhead with her sometime in May. And then blue_by_nature. And we're going to be doing Night of the Creeps in June. So this is going to be a fun 3-month stint. If you hate it, let us know politely. If you love it, let us know. We'll do more in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's something that helps our fans interact with us a little bit more. And yeah, I don't know. I'm all for it. Well, as long as you're not a creep.
Yeah, whenever I describe the show to other people, I'm always like, it's kind of just like we're sitting there talking about movies and we just invite you to pull up a chair. And we've had multiple people, like Joe Otero is like, I get so mad listening to your show because I want to chime in and I forget that I'm listening to a podcast. And that's like the pinnacle of compliment.
Right. Yeah. It almost makes you wonder if we could even delve into like Twitch, where we can do something like this and then have a screen off to the side where people can do the live chat.
For those of you listening in the audio format, I'm pressing my breasts together because I know that's a good way to get Twitch followers, right?
It's true. Oh, it's totally true. Although we do still technically have breasts. I mean,
mine are getting bigger by the day.
by the day, that vegan diet.
To be honest, and I think earlier we were talking about my black nipples, so maybe people could check out my black nipples.
Yeah. So I'm not going to let you explain that. We're moving on. So let's get into some trivia for this movie. Did you know that on January 13th, 1990, the original film's operatic theme song was played aboard NASA's Columbia Space Shuttle as a wake-up morning call to the crew?
Is that the one that exploded afterwards?
No, that's a challenge.
How would it wake them up if it exploded?
I think here's my theory. The song triggers the explosion. They wake up aflame as they're incinerated and die. Incinerated.
I thought it was something like
incinerated.
You know, they're all hanging out in their fucking dormitories before they go up into space, and before the launch, and they're like, "All right, wake up, motherfuckers! We're gonna play some Attack of the Killer Tomatoes," and it just puts them in a jovial mood. They go into their fucking countdown
Return of the Killer Tomatoes.
Oh, god damn it.
Well, so the trivia was for to be fair, the original Attack theme. So I have to admit.
Thank you, Jake.
I apologize.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I feel like Poland here. I'm very divided.
Good. It's just because I'm holding a beer right
exactly.
now. I can feel the seething hate.
Fucking sell out. XXX.
You're feeling the hate across the country.
That's it, man.
From Connecticut to California.
Yep.
So Scholastic published a book called Attack of the Killer Potatoes in 1997.
Did they get sued?
Nope. Warner Brothers didn't do shit to them, even though Warner Brothers didn't make this fucking movie either. So fuck them and fuck everything.
This morning I was like, oh, it's cool. We got Jake. He's a lawyer. Yeah. We'll figure it out.
Well, the fact is, I'm right. It's just they have an algorithm. So fuck them. But anyway, so in years to come, when people go back and listen to this episode or they watch this episode, they're going to be like, why are they so upset with Warner Brothers? Because producer Chad, we've already established, is going to entirely re-edit the last episode and do it again. Yay, producer Chad.
Thanks, Chad. Thank you.
Producer Chad is
Please, Chad, take a bow in the background. Yeah. Take a bow.
With no shirt on.
No. Put the shirt back on and then take a bow.
So then, did you know that the film was inspired by a Japanese film from 1963 called Matango, which is about killer radioactive mushrooms that was distributed in the United States as Attack of the Mushroom People?
That does not surprise me.
It was made by Toho, who did Godzilla.
The Japanese are very, they have some very interesting ideas.
Very interesting ideas.
It sounds like the premise of a Power Rangers episode. This is Super Sentai. Right? Like, you're at Angel Grove High School.
What's Super Sentai?
It's what Power Rangers is based on.
Oh, I did not know that.
We'll just make it Mighty Morphin Power Rangers to simplify for everybody. So, yeah, Bulk and Skull, and they're like, we hate vegetables and we hate funguses. Don't try and correct me. We hate funguses, too. We're not going to eat our vegetables.
Why is Mr. Mackey in this?
Hey, you shut up, you guys. Well, I don't want to do the Bulk and Skull voice. So, then you have Kimberly, who's like, funguses and vegetables are important, you guys. Let's make everybody do this. And so as a joke, they put the funguses on the pizza. Fungus monster, Megazord chops them in half. They die. It writes itself. You wouldn't watch this movie.
It's been so long since I've watched Power Rangers, so any voice that you could have done would have made sense to me.
And it's called Sentai?
Hentai. No, it's Sentai. Yeah.
I was like, that sounds an awful lot like hentai.
Oh, yeah. It's Sentai, and one of them is called Jew Ranger.
What?
When you hear it, you're like, okay.
Wow. Moving on.
Yep. The plot was reused for Return of the Killer Tomatoes in the Attack of the Killer Tomatoes cartoon show. Here's the fucked up thing. Chad from the movie, who fucks the brains at Atara, is a child in the cartoon show. And
what?
Yep. You're like, I can't unthink the things that you did to her. The 6 milk bottles and the tuning fork.
They totally pulled like a Game of Thrones right there. Because watching Game of Thrones, the first season, when you see like Khaleesi and you're like, oh, I'd hit that. And they're like, yeah, she was 14 in the book. And you're like,
oh no. Please God, why underage incest? No.
Yeah, because that's the worst thing to come out of Game of Thrones.
Awesome. The cartoon show aired from September 9th, 1990 until November 23rd, 1991. Not a killer run for the Killer Tomatoes.
No, it's got to be tough, right?
It's because it sucks.
Had a killer toy line, though.
It did. That is true. This is also around the same time that the Toxic Crusaders were a thing, and they had their action figure line, which is awesome.
I feel like once upon a time, especially with cartoons, you can have like a toy line go specifically through like McDonald's or Burger King or something and just be like fucking killing it, right? Because everybody wants a Happy Meal, and you have like your free like publicity.
Yeah. And what I love is, so like the 50s, 60s, you're dealing with radioactive stuff, and then the 80s is all like radioactive waste, which is kind of a cool way of like ringing in a new generation of like how we're dealing with the old generation's bullshit. Also, I think a lot of it has to do with the success of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So to see this movie come back with such a long gap between the first one, it's kind of like the same thing of like, let's fix this old shit.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Future U.S. Congressman Gary Condit had an uncredited and unspoken role in the film. Rick Rockwell played Jim Richardson / tomato dealer. He would later appear on the TV show Who Wants to Marry a Multimillionaire.
That's interesting. So was he was one of the shady guys in the in the restaurant, or not in a restaurant, the grocery.
Holy shit, I just realized Carlos Condit's dad is a congressman. I wonder if this is Carlos Condit's dad.
See, because I was thinking, like, how many people have a last name Condit? And then I'm like, Carlos Condit is a really like established fighter that people would probably know of. So this is gonna be really crazy if he's somehow related.
Okay, so busy yourselves talking about Killer Tomatoes in space while I Google. Go ahead.
Well, okay, so did it come out in theaters?
Believe so.
This movie or in space? Because in space was planned but never came out.
Return of the Killer Tomatoes. I mean, it had George Clooney. You can imagine that it probably had some sort of fanfare, right?
Yeah,
he wasn't. I don't think he was a huge actor at this point.
No, he wasn't at all.
Oh, George Clooney is always a huge actor, regardless of how old he is.
But the movie grossed $5 million, which is pretty much nothing. But yeah, I'm not finding anything about Gary Condit.
I wonder how much. Did you find out, Jake, how much it cost to make the film?
I didn't. I couldn't find that information, like, confidently anyway.
I feel like they spent majority of the money, at least on the original, on the helicopter fucking crashing.
Yeah.
They're like, well, there goes all of our fucking budget. We have to pay for this helicopter and probably the untimely death of the operator. Yeah. Because when I saw that go down, Jesus Christ, I looked at Michelle and I was like, I don't think that was planned, because it went down really hard and there were things flying and I'm like, somebody's gonna die. So I mean, obviously nothing came up in the as far as notes that somebody died, but that's got to be a fucking, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I feel like when you watch helicopters go down in movies, there's always blades that go flying everywhere.
Yeah,
and people just get like destroyed.
Oh yeah,
but maybe not.
Yeah. I'm surprised there weren't more deaths involved in that than anything else.
Yeah, so my 1 minute of research revealed no link between Gary Condit and Carlos Condit, but Gary Condit did have a sex scandal and he had a son named Chad. Producer Chad raises his fists in glory and we move on. I saw a bunch of people online try and say that Tim Burton's use of yodeling country music in Mars Attacks was an homage to this film. No,
I don't see it at all.
Pass. Okay, so did you guys mention the Killer Tomatoes in space? I think that would have been great. I would have loved to see it, but I also loved Leprechaun in space, and I would watch pretty much anything in space.
Agreed. Yeah, I feel like space just adds that extra layer of fucking sweetness to a film that's just dog shit, and you're like, well, it's in space, so let's check it out.
I don't know.
You don't seem to agree.
I don't know. I might pass on tomatoes in space. I mean, I get the other movies in space, but tomatoes, come on.
But what about Air Bud in space?
Did you say Air Bud?
Yes.
Like the basketball playing dog?
Yes, I did.
Let's see him slam dunks in 0G.
I mean, just
right.
just
You would want to watch it. You would want to watch it. Exactly. I mean, Air Bud's like, whatever. He plays basketball. He's a dog. But in space.
So here's my pitch.
Go on.
You ready? It's in space, but it's not the tomatoes that are aliens. You find out that they're the original inhabitants of Earth, and we're the aliens who millions of years ago as cave people invaded, and it's them getting their own planet back, so we're the villains.
Still don't want to see it.
Hate it.
And it's directed by M. Night Shyamalan.
What was that movie After Earth that he did, which is more like After Birth, am I right? If you're gonna make a shitty movie, don't make the joke so obvious, M. Night. M. Night Shyamalan. Rob, you got any other trivia or anything before we get into statistics?
I don't think I do, except for the fact that we were talking about the theme before.
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. This is just singing part.
Did anyone else notice that when they're playing the horn part, it's really just someone going like,
oh yeah, yes, yeah, absolutely,
which makes it so much better. Because at first I thought
totally
it was a kazoo.
Well,
yeah, you know, I feel like I was telling Jake earlier. I feel like if anything, it would be like an Aquabat song, like of now, right? Either an Aquabats or like the Vandals. Those are the two bands that come to mind who would sing that song.
I would go with like Gwar.
Oh,
that
good call.
Works surprisingly well too.
And that would be super heavy.
Yeah,
I like it.
I could do that for sure.
Yeah. What was the head singer's name?
Dave Rocky or
Rest in peace.
Oh, Dave Rocky or Odorous Urungus.
Yeah.
You can't tell that they're my favorite band or anything.
He's like, is it Odorous or Dave Rocky or
Would you like his home phone number and social
security number? I might have it.
Dude has literally showed me his VHS collection of Gwar. Like he's like blood in, blood out, which is the second time in a week I get to make a gang reference. I'm so smart.
Yeah, you go. Have you been?
You planned that whole thing. He told me to say that so you could say it.
No. I totally wish I'd been to a Gwar show.
Oh man,
I also feel like I would hurt people, so that's a big.
You know
problem.
what? I was the one and only time I went to a Gwar show. I was stupid enough to wear white tennies and a white T-shirt, and by the end of the night,
you're supposed to do that.
But it was a nice white T-shirt and nice tennies.
It was a plain white tee.
Shut up.
Did you say?
Just shut the fuck up. Just how are we talking about Gwar and then you just throw that out there? Jesus.
They're making a TV show about Hey There Delilah. Did you know this?
Let's go back to Gwar.
Wait. Seriously? Just based off of a song?
Yes.
It's
I have read this multiple times in multiple sources. Brian, keep going.
This is America.
Okay. Donald Glover.
Yeah, so basically at the end of the night, I have a piss stain on the left side of me. I have a brown shit stain on the other side of me. And then a bunch of, cum just kind of blends in with the white T-shirt, so you couldn't really see that. I had a little bit of blood splatter here and there. They had big giant dicks on stage, and they were shooting at all kinds of different colored fluids at people.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they had a T-Rex on stage, and people got eaten. It was fucking sweet.
Sick.
His name is Gorgor.
Oh, man.
First off,
listen here, beer slinger.
Let me mansplain to you what Gwar is.
Right? They had a pig on stage, and he was like a Nazi pig, and then he got skewered, and they were roasting him.
That's not kosher.
It was super fucking weird. And then they had a Nazi Pope come out on stage, and then they decapitated his head.
Okay, so was it the Pope, or was it Nazi Pope?
Oh,
Jesus.
Okay, moving on.
Hey, they had Jesus on there too.
Statistics for the week. In terms of finding the budget, I couldn't find anything I thought was an accurate source, but we'll get into some of the stuff about that later. The gross $5 million. I'll put my pinky in my mouth and act like I'm Dr. Evil. The competition on the weekend of April 22nd, 1988. Casual Sex and the Unholy.
Casual Sex won.
Well,
it had to have won.
Let me just put. I'm not going to tell you the plot of both of them. I'm going to tell you.
No, I don't need
to
know that
combined.
I don't need to know the plot of Casual Sex. The name tells you what it is.
Okay.
Are you sure?
So it's a Roman Catholic priest who is literally afraid of contracting AIDS, So goes to a club to find a altar boy who's demonic force.
Oh, no.
That's if you put them both together. Now I'll leave it to you to take them apart because that just blew my mind.
Okay, I thought that was all one movie for a second.
No.
I was like, ooh, that's a hard pass.
How would that be one movie? Just imagine that.
If you've
casual sex, I mean, who knows? I mean, that leaves the door wide open.
Yeah, if you've seen Blood Diner, you could see how that could all be one movie. The week before this movie came out, for you super horror fans, Brain Damage came out, directed by the guy who did Basket Case. Not bad.
Not bad.
Runtime, 98 minutes. Robbie, I'll leave this one to you. Was it easy, breezy, beautiful, cover girl? That's our way of asking if it's been on time, if it was a short watch, or if you felt like it's slogged.
I don't know. The movie, to me, I think it's well paced. I just love 80s movies like this. So to me, watching this whole thing was very easy.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think I always refer to the phrase copious amounts of cocaine because I feel like everybody in the 80s were doing it.
Oh,
so
look at this movie. They were totally all doing cocaine. Even Clooney.
That's why his eye was twitching all the time.
Especially Clooney. Yeah, we were talking about how his eye was twitching like throughout the film, and I was like, is that part of the film or is he doing too much cocaine?
No, totally so much cocaine.
Yeah, agreed.
Like,
yeah, it definitely flowed throughout. What do you think, Jake?
I agree. Now let me ask you both this. Do you think you need to have watched Attack of the Killer Tomatoes to watch this one?
I wish I wouldn't have.
No, not at all.
I definitely agree with you guys, and this is me crowbarring in my catchphrase, my unofficial catchphrase. So what your guys are saying is that you could go and raw dog this movie with no preparation, right?
You're really
take
trying to
that,
make that,
Warner Brothers.
Really trying to make that happen.
We got
to get raw dog shirts. It's gonna happen. Next fucking stickers are gonna be raw dog.
We gotta throw in the audio. Raw dog.
Dude, I'm gonna make stickers that are just a QR code, and people are gonna be like, "Oh, what's this?" I'm gonna raw dog.
Oh, they're gonna hate us.
Oh, they already do.
Yeah, but you know what? As a punishment, I feel like I need to force you to watch the original Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
I've watched it before. Yeah, I swear, pinky swear. Scout's honor. Don't make me watch it again. I don't want to.
No, you gotta watch it again.
I thought we were gonna do it so we could talk shit about it. This one is actually entertaining, so I'm fine either way.
Yeah, I was telling Jake earlier. Fortunately, from watching how bad the first film is, it made me appreciate the second that much more. So,
oh, you're not offending me at all. It's like saying Troll 2 or Troll 1. You have to watch that, and you watch Troll 2, and you're like, wow, Troll 2 is amazing.
Yeah, well, and to be fair, 10 years apart?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Here's a fun fact about Jake's life that nobody asked for. So one summer spent with my grandparents. In that summer, I watched 2 films that I can recall specifically on HBO. One was Troll 2. One was Guyver, which is the biosuit Guyver that has Mark Hamill in it. I returned to Southern California. I did not know the name of Troll 2, but I did know the name of Guyver. I go to Warehouse Music. I say, hey, guy, I want the Guyver. It's a great movie. I think it's beautiful. I want to own it. And he's like, I think you mean Mac Guyver. And I'm like, I think I mean the Guyver. And he says, I think you mean Mac Guyver. And that's where my contempt for authority grew exponentially. Now, same trip to Warehouse Music. I didn't know the name of Troll 2. I knew that it involved goblins and a kid pissing on a bunch of food. I mentioned this to the guy who works there, and I think he thought I was schizophrenic.
Yeah.
You don't piss on hospitality.
I believe that. Yeah, it's funny because nowadays people are going to be like, the fuck's Warehouse Music or Warehouse Video? The fuck's Blockbuster? What? The fuck's VHS?
At least there is one Blockbuster still in existence. I don't think there's a single Warehouse Video anymore.
Is there one Blockbuster?
Yeah, there's one Blockbuster.
Jesus.
It still has a whole thing, and there's I think a brewery makes a beer based on it.
Has it become like a national treasure?
Yeah, people still actively go there and stuff. It's pretty cool.
I like it.
They still rent movies.
It's kitschy. Directed by John DeBello. Did you notice that he did anything else? Nope. Because he didn't. His whole career is Killer Tomatoes. Amazing, isn't it? That you could make an entire career out of a student film?
Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't you be proud of it?
Even as a vegan, I couldn't be proud of it. I can't endorse that as a life decision. I would love to be this kid's high school guidance counselor who's like, now, of all the career paths, of all the vegetables, you picked Killer Tomatoes. And he's like, very confidently, yes, that is my final answer. What do you do with that?
Right? I don't know. So with the original, did they mention that the tomato is a fruit? I want to say in the Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Isn't it, Rob? Remind me if I'm correct. They're in the tiny boardroom, and one of the I believe it's a Japanese scientist who has like.
Why does he have to be Japanese? He couldn't.
I don't know. It's a Japanese scientist, and they dub over his voice, and he has like the most white voice ever because. I don't know why. It makes no sense, but he's like, oh, well.
Why'd it have to be a white voice?
Okay, so it's the fucking lead singer from Kill Switch Engage. The old singer from Kill Switch Engage, which I thought had sounded like a white guy, but apparently it's a big black dude.
Oh, Howard Jones,
yeah.
Howard's dope as fuck, man.
Also
that dude's white on the
from
inside,
Connecticut. Also from Connecticut.
Also from Connecticut.
Also straight edge, so that's fun.
Oh,
in this film, they always call it a vegetable.
Yeah, they do.
According to the FDA, pizza is a vegetable, so whatever.
Wait, pizza's not a vegetable?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, that's the way I always structured my food pyramid as well. And it shows.
Your vegan food pyramid?
Yeah, because my titties are growing day by day, as we've aforementioned. Moving on, written by Stefan, not Steven. I refuse to say Steven if it's spelled with a PH. Stefan Andrich, John DeBello, Constantine Dillon, J. Stevens, Stefan Peace. Sorry, dang it, I just broke my own rule. Anyway, this is all these fuckers ever did was Killer Tomato movies. This is like the Brat Pack of the vegetable aisle at the supermarket.
What if, like, after the end of the Killer Tomatoes series, they're like, all right, guys, we finished them. Now we have to kill each other or we have to kill ourselves. All right, it's part of the pact.
They would do like seppuku and they sit down and like very stoically disembowel themselves.
What it's like when samurai samurai
yeah,
right?
disembowels themselves,
or Ronin, which
Ronin, yeah, when they dishonor their family, they have to just stab themselves through the stomach.
Fucking super dark, like goes from like one side of the gut all the way to the other.
And they can only do it by themselves.
Well, they can get beheaded if they do it on good terms. Like if they do it with honor, they can end the suffering. But if you do it as like a coward, they just let you bleed to death, which is so fucking gnarly.
I don't know. I always feel like if I were to kneel and lower my head, I'm praying to God they have a sharp blade. I'm like, when was the last time you sharpened that?
Wait, you have a Baphomet shirt on right now, and you just talked about praying to God.
Well, it is not a Baphomet.
Oh, is
t-shirt,
it the Aries thing?
So it is an Aries ram skull. So back the fuck up, motherfucker.
You just astrologize my ass.
Yeah, that's right. If you saw me in my board shorts, I have a nice tattoo of it on the back of my thigh. Maybe if you're lucky.
I've seen it. I synced it.
I haven't seen it.
You will. We're gonna have a beach party one day. You're gonna be invited. We're short shorts only. Can we make that a rule for Slash's podcast?
Yeah. You know what's funny is
gotta be Bermuda shorts.
Yes.
I forget what podcast I saw it on. I was scrolling through, during break at work, doing what I do, not really contributing on Instagram, just scrolling through shit and
marking messages as read and then scrolling on. Oh no, but you're nice enough to like their stuff, and then they'll be having a conversation with me, and I'll be like, 3 days later, I'm like, oh yeah. By the way, here's your response. And people are like, ugh.
Yeah. So, anyways, they have a what is the like sexy photo shoot that people boudoir. There you go. So somebody did a sexy photo shoot for like their fans, and they had a calendar.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That was dope.
Yeah. I thought that was really kind of neat.
We could do it,
but I don't know. It's kind of played out, right? Somebody else did it.
Fuck them.
Fuck them.
We're doing it. All right, it's time for everybody's favorite segment, nicknames.
Nicknames.
Which everybody loves, unilaterally loves, because all it is us talking shit like cowards, and we never have to confront
We have
anyone.
to come up with a better segment
What's
name.
your best?
Jesus. Jesus fucking Christ. Chad almost took my head off with a fucking grapefruit soda drink.
All right, now this is thoroughly shaken, we can assume, right? Let's see.
Thoroughly.
I'm going to do a Stone Cold Steve Austin right now if it pops. If it doesn't pop, I'm not worried about it.
Give me a hell yeah.
Oh. Well, at least it's going to be delicious.
I thought you were going to do a Stone Cold Steve Austin and smash them together.
Well, I only have one, and so I thought that it was going to fizz.
I could have held up the beer with our powers combined. Yeah, that's right.
The bubbles, they tingle my nose.
So I was thinking with the nicknames, like I feel like we have a catchy thing for every segment. We're like slay by play, statistics, and this is nicknames. So
we've tried to come up with one.
I don't know. We gotta find something, man. I don't know. Not putting you on the spot or anything, because you have all the fucking catchy things.
I came up with all the other ones, and you're like, "This is the one you didn't do." It's about time we catch up on it.
Yeah. Well. Anyways, nicknames.
How about we call it prick names, as in prick names who call their friends out in the middle of the show.
At least once per episode. I gotta keep it keep it going. So nicknames. What are we gonna start with? George Clooney.
Chad.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, Chad. You know, it's surprising that George Clooney isn't the main character.
Yeah,
right. But
it's kind of like with Jennifer Aniston, where in all the supplemental advertising material that came out, they really boost up their involvement.
Yeah, that's true.
So anyway, Robbie, do you got anything for Chad, who's played by Anthony Starkey?
I was thinking more like a poor man's Marty McFly.
Oh, I dig that. That's actually really good.
Yeah, I can see that, especially with that hairdo.
But I don't think I can say it without going Marty. So I'm gonna try and do that. And if I don't, remind me to.
And that's just gonna remind me of Rick and Morty.
Marty. Have you ever watched
Morty? Morty.
Have you watched Doc and Marty?
It is so fucking crazy.
It is fucked.
It is fucking crazy.
And then House of Cosby's fucked. I love it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you sent me both of those YouTube videos.
You're welcome. I'm king of forwards. So we move on to Matt Stevens, George Clooney. So here are my three for consideration. Ocean's 11, From Dusk Till Dawn, Bat Nipples.
Oh, Bat Nipples.
You will recall.
Bat Nipples wins.
There we go.
Absolutely. He also, I think, wore a cock piece.
Cod piece.
Oh,
No, you're right. It was a cock piece.
It was a cock piece. Yeah.
So then
extra bulgy in that Batman suit.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
I still say Bat Nipples.
Bat Nipples.
So we got Tara Baumbiao. This was played by Karen M. Waldron, who went under the name Karen Mistal.
Did she do anything else?
I think it must have been porn if she's changing her name.
She did one. She did one other film, as far as I remember.
And did she take off her top?
Oh, probably. It was like Confederate Women of the Amazon or something like that.
What the fuck? Why aren't we watching this?
Shit. That's a missed opportunity.
At least we get to see Tara topless.
So, I really wish, like, we all agree that by genome or whatever, a tomato is a fruit, right?
Wait, it's a fruit?
You put fruits in pies, right? I would really love for her to be like American Pie, because the idea of a nerdy guy fucking her is just hilarious, and it's Jason Biggs sticking his dick in a pie. That's a bit tenuous, so you guys need to do this one. Her nickname.
We need to do her nickname because
I got nothing.
Brian
man.
looks.
Just call her tomato. Just call her tomato pie. Just call her tomato pie.
Tomato pie.
Ooh.
Gah.
She's my tomato pie.
Oh man, I feel like once upon a time I told people as soon as Jake starts singing, take a shot.
You're gonna get alcohol poisoning. We need to do a disclaimer to the show. If you have to have a liver transplant because of my singing in this drinking game, You can get fucked, sweet chariot.
That was another one of your catchphrases.
Get fucked.
Get fucked.
Get fucked. That's the other thing. I need to bring back. You can fuck right off. That was my catchphrase for like the first 4 years.
You can fuck the right off.
Fuck right off. Okay. Igor, played by Steve Lundquist, who I believe in the cartoon version, Igor is voiced by the guy who did Michelangelo. I think. I didn't do the IMDb research, but fuck it. You gonna challenge me? Who's gonna challenge me? You gonna challenge me on my TMNT knowledge?
You gonna challenge me? I'm a lawyer, bitch.
Also, TMNT is my oldest and deepest obsession. You will not challenge me.
Your oldest and deepest obsession?
Dude. Yeah.
I can get really dark he said it. Deep.
Deep.
Elbow deep in Michelangelo. My first pet was a snapping turtle named Raphael. And I had to let him go because he kept biting me, but I still loved him because that's how much I love Ninja Turtles. So what do you got, fuckers? Anchorman?
Yeah.
What's the name of Will Ferrell's character in Anchorman?
Ron Burgundy.
Ron Burgundy.
Let's just call him Ron Burgundy. Let's call him RB.
RB.
RB, and then don't get confused with was it FT?
FT, yeah.
Oh, FT.
FT.
Professor Gangrene. It's pretty obvious. Played by John Astin. It's just Gomez.
Yeah, Gomez. It has to be Gomez. Absolutely.
Did you know that he returned for the TV show?
He did. Yeah, he was the voice of Dr. Gangrene.
Oh, that's cool.
Pretty cool. And then also, director DeBello specifically told him, don't watch the original. And this guy actually came back for the next 2 sequels as well. So, I mean, this guy got deep in the franchise, and I think it's only because he didn't see how bad the first one was.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we're following a theme here.
Yeah.
Don't watch the original. You'll be fine.
Wilbur Finletter by J. Stephen Peace.
Take off the fucking parachute.
I know,
Jesus
right?
Christ.
Can we call him MC Hammer?
Parachute?
Parachute.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we call him MC.
MC. Well, no, we're having too many letters, though.
Yeah, 2 letters, yeah.
We'll just call him Hammer. Hammer time.
Hammer
time. I like it.
I like it.
I love it. I want some more of it.
He was replaced by Tom Bray in the TV show. Do you know why that's significant? Because this fucking asshole spells Tom Thom. Ew.
Who does that?
Ew. Official stance of Slashers Pod. Ew.
Ew.
Moving on. Rob, I think it's time that you do the recapitation, my friend, since you know this movie inside and out.
Oh, don't make me do that. Don't make me do that.
Well, so recapitation, right, is just basically a quick recap. It's not like the Slay by Play where you're going, into full detail. It's just like a little bit of tidbit, kind of like what you would hear when they have it on like a commercial.
All right, Brian, I think we need to do a slow clap to get this guy into gear.
Oh boy. Okay, so you got Dr. Gangrene. He basically fails in the first movie, so he tries a new way of making up Killer Tomato Man with a different song that's not Puberty Love. I don't know. I can't do this, man.
It's good, man. It's good. It's totally fine. I totally fucked up. Probably way more than that in our first, actually, the episode 0 fucking Event Horizon. My brain basically exploded when Jake's like, all right, Brian, take over. And I'm like,
like you know what you want to say, but you're just like tripping over yourself.
Yeah, it's hard, man. It's really hard. I'm not saying our job's hard, but
yeah, this is super easy. But we've also got a plenty of practice.
Yeah, and always striving to get better.
But we're also always talking like this to each other too. I don't feel like we turn off anymore. It's
no. It's not something where we're trying to portray a certain character. This is just us.
Brian, did I make it more than this? I have not prompted Brian. Chad, you're a witness because you were at the same party. Did I make it longer than a minute without referencing either A, the show, or B, a horror movie at my daughter's 1-year-old birthday party on Saturday?
But you know what? I saw a vein popping out of the corner of your forehead because you were you're trying so fucking hard.
Because that's me. I'm the horror guy.
Yeah. So. I mean, I feel like some of these memes that you make, they just scream you.
Yeah.
To the point where I'm like, yeah, if anybody doesn't know, this is Jake.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that's so interesting is like I think people like are like they assume like well, they have a really deep, great friendship with me, and I'm like, you have to give me something about yourself too. Like I don't know who you are, but you're getting a piece of my soul. Like each of these memes is a Horcrux, and part of my soul is going.
Oh my god!
I see what we did. We branched over there. I like it. You branched over in Lord of the Rings, right?
No. Whoa!
You're a Jedi, Harry. Make it so. I love memes where people get nerd obsessions wrong. It's the best thing ever.
Yeah, but majority of the time they do it on purpose, and the trolls come out fucking hard.
So good.
So good.
The only thing that bothers me is the fact that you combined Star Wars with Star Trek, and I'm not going to get into that with you.
Oh man, are we gonna dig that up?
Oh, you're gonna get phased.
Oh, we'll just stop the phase with our Jedi powers.
Set my shit to wait. Your Jedi powers. So that means that you appreciate Kylo Ren, who's able to stop laser beams with his brain, right?
Exactly.
Have you ever punched yourself in the side while throwing a temper tantrum, losing to a girl? The people want answers. I actually really like that character. I think he's like the only really interesting one of the new series.
Agreed.
Kylo Ren?
Yeah, dude.
I feel like he's really relatable.
What about Captain Phasma?
Captain Phasma's the Boba Fett of this series. I look really cool. I'm fucking useless. She is so fucking useless. And then the next movie, when she comes back, and you're like, you're worse now. How did you get less capable?
Feminist revolt.
What if she comes back and her legs are like Darth Maul's and they're spider legs?
Oh, from Clone Wars. I like that. I can get down with that. I actually really like Clone Wars. Not gonna lie.
I haven't seen it.
It's good. There's some cool shit in it. You like Darth Maul and Darth.
Is it on Netflix?
Yeah,
Hulu?
It is. It's on Netflix.
I'll have to binge watch it.
And it is canon.
It is. That is correct. And then so is Rebels, which comes after it, which has some cool shit.
How many seasons?
It's leaving Netflix soon.
Oh, that means I really have to fucking binge it.
Yeah, just watch it.
How many seasons are there?
I think like 4 or 5.
Oh, that's fucking nothing when it comes to binging episodes. So
especially they're 20 minutes each. Like,
and, really good. And especially because it's way better than any Star Trek. Like,
damn,
series.
He's fucking throwing shade,
and he's also wrong. Moving into Slay by Play.
Rob, I think we're losing you.
Yeah. I'm going through a tunnel.
All right, so we'll go ahead and skip the.
We're literally 47 minutes into this, so we should kick it in.
Fucking move it along, huh? Jesus.
Yeah. All right. Luckily, there's, like we said, no plot to this movie, so we can just end it whenever we want.
Jump right in. I really like how the movie starts out with where it's like a movie within a movie.
Love it.
Right, where it's like this like sideshow episode of like a game show, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it's called. Did they have a name for the show? I don't know. It's not relevant. But they talk about like what the word of the day is.
Secret word.
They're like, and you'll get entered into the jackpot. What is the jackpot? And it's like
$9.22. I think.
$9.22.
See, and you know what? That right there is very reminiscent of Blood Diner.
Yeah, dude.
Right? So, Rob, did you have a chance to check out Blood Diner?
I have not.
Oh, God.
So much for Superfan. Rob, I'm going through a tunnel.
Oh, so much for Superfan.
It's so good, man. You have to do yourself a service and watch it.
But also, so I was watching this with my wife and her cousin, who's one of my best friends. And sorry, Brian.
Wow.
On your territory.
Is this some news coming out on this
episode?
I said
like live on the recording, huh?
But we both really love Kung Pao Enter the Fist, and there is a lot of that style of humor in this movie.
Where it kind of pokes fun at itself.
Yeah, they're just like shit that's so silly. Like the board where it's showing how much money there is. There's like 9 blank figures of like 0, 0, 0.
Yeah.
That buildup is so like you don't see that kind of shit in modern. Like you wouldn't see that in a Will Ferrell movie nowadays.
Right. No. Yeah. You almost think to yourself, okay, as the writers, we are going to have a dartboard. We're going to have a bunch of ideas. We're all going to blindfold each other and throw fucking aimlessly and see what happens. But I mean, they're all really well written ideas. So it's not just like a bunch of random bullshit. So it all strings along somewhat, and it's pretty clever. But yeah, that's what I think of.
And then it cuts to Bikini Beach Babes. Rob, why don't you take that over? That's your favorite thing, right?
Dude, I was excited about that.
What, the big-breasted girls
exactly
go to the beach.
Yeah, man. I was like,
Who
this
says
is
you
really
don't sing?
This is cool. Like, I'm in. All right. And then all of a sudden, like, the tops started coming off and getting thrown on the ground. And I was like,
boob.
wow, I am super in. And then, yeah, I'm pretty sure Michelle from upstairs is like, the fuck are you watching? I'm like, don't worry about it. Go to bed.
Ignore this sound.
That song, it just makes the whole thing.
Is that your ringtone, Rob?
It is for when you call me now.
Ooh, hey girl, hey. Then we cut to the Gremlins 2 style basement in the laboratory of like what's the best worst matte painted house I've ever seen. Even though they actually had a house. Like that is a different level of buffoonery, which I love.
Yeah, agreed.
And the smoke coming out of the chimney.
Somebody tell me what Gomez Addams does.
I'm like, oh shit. Is this Rob? Is this Brian? I don't know.
Wait, what was the question?
So it goes to Gomez Addams in the laboratory. I like how we're going with laboratory, so it's like Dexter.
My stupid sister Katie.
So it goes to Gomez in the laboratory, and he's hanging out with I forget nickname for Tara. He says, "Hey, bitch, put on earmuffs."
She's my tomato pie.
She's my tomato pie. So he's like, "Put on your earmuffs." She's like, all right, cool. And he's like, hand me a quarter.
Quarter.
She just stares at him so like blankly, like, what? You know, that you know, something like that. Again, it reiterates how schlappy this movie is, right?
And then, like, he's a scientist, but he hasn't figured out how to like jerry rig his jukebox so where he doesn't have to put a quarter in every time.
I was just about to say that. Like, why would you need a quarter every time if you're using music as part of this?
Yeah, as somebody that never has loose change on them ever, like none of my experiments would work.
So he then drops the tomato into acid. Don't forget that. And then
is it acid?
It's toxic.
Radioactive
waste. It's toxic waste.
Well, whatever. It's green. You don't know. You guys are jumping ahead is what you're doing. You're derailing the show, okay? At this point, the best information we have available is that it's acid.
If it was acid, the tomato wouldn't exist anymore.
And that's how you give your fan who's guest hosting an aneurysm. You hear this hostility here?
Let it be known.
So then we go into the establishing world and find out that we get Rambo tomato.
Absolutely.
So good. This dude's boobs are like Brock Lesnar boobs.
His peck is like the size of my head.
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar or the Rambo dude?
The Rambo dude. So if you take the Slashers logo, which you can see here on these stickers that you can get for free if you send it to shipping address, it's like the guy's one boob is Brian and the other boob is me.
Oh.
Bringing it around to merchandising.
Yep.
That's being on brand. How about that? Warner Brothers, I'll teach you a thing. Moving on, we go to the town and find out that they've outlawed tomatoes since the Great Tomato War.
Right. They outlaw tomatoes, and you get all of this information. It's almost like the scrolling text.
Yeah.
But it's like through like news report, which is really cool.
I thought it was really good at getting you up to speed.
Yeah, it's not something where it's clearly like the main character just like throwing this like stated fact out there.
Yeah.
So I really like that. And it's funny how they were kind of switching back and forth between channels. With
the yacht or the full contact yacht racing.
Yeah, awesome. They're showing the yachts and they're showing the cannons from
that's
old
so
ships.
Good. That's so good. They're like, yeah, fuck everybody else. America.
Can't see until the smoke clears.
So you establish that what do we call him? Marty is going to do a delivery on a Vespa, and we go right back to the same house we were just at. Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
That's what happens when you can only afford 3 sets in a movie.
Do you guys recall what she ordered?
It was something with boysenberry sauce.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, obviously, no tomato sauce. You catch that very quickly in the film.
I think it was like gummy bears and
gummy bears and like you see somebody eating anchovies and fucking peanut butter is disgusting.
But
Yeah, so you see Chad, right, go up to the house. Tara opens the door and she totally acts like a robot. Like, I thought she was a robot. I'm like, oh, she's like some like fucking robot sex slave.
Yeah.
But she's a tomato sex slave.
Which is awesome. Because I think she's biodegradable.
I mean, she's called tomato pie, so.
Go ahead, sing it.
Nope.
Come on, Brian.
Nope.
Don't puss out. We made him do the
No, dog. That's going to be a no for me, dog.
No.
I sang once, and it was for American Werewolf in London.
You also did Gwen Stefani, so step up.
No, but hey, you know what? I didn't know I was being recorded, to be fair.
Okay,
so you can sing twice then.
The lights here are all for show. No good?
Not going to happen.
Okay.
I need a couple more beers.
So there's the rumors that Gangrene was involved in the Great Tomato Uprising, blah, blah, blah. They talk about the song Puberty Love being the great thing that overthrew the tomatoes.
Yeah. Which made absolutely no sense in the first film.
No. And then I love this, that Gomez Addams is wearing his fucking Gomez suit with the pinstripe suit.
Yeah, I totally noticed that.
So good.
That's really good.
He didn't sword fight anybody.
I feel like every other part of the film, he's in his sweet like lab coat.
Yeah.
And then
that essentially gets branded with Pepsi, which is awesome.
Oh yeah, all the what sponsors later on, yeah.
Yeah, it totally reminds me of like where Wayne's World got it.
Oh yeah.
You can imagine they totally ripped it off, right?
Oh, they totally ripped it off.
Which one comes first though?
Oh, dude, this comes before it. It has to.
Yeah,
Wayne's World came out in like the
1990.
Is it both? Because I knew that Wayne's World 2 was the 90s, but I thought that Wayne's World 1 was the tail end of the 80s.
No. Wayne's World 1 was 1991.
Dude, Garth in his full fucking Reebok gear.
Actually, it's 1992, so I was even more wrong. Rob.
Hey.
I'm going to make you feel even worse for making me feel like I was so much more wrong.
Did you like how I pulled the Edward Furlong? Like, she's not my mother, Todd.
Price is Right rules, dude. Close without going over.
Yeah, there you go.
I like it.
So, blah, blah. Something happens. I'm wrong. We move on.
He just can't handle being wrong.
No, he goes. So Chad goes back to the restaurant, right? And then you see their uncle.
Oh, wait. Tara vacuums a snake whose name is Larry, who whines like a dog. And then Gomez Addams yells at her and says, "You will never understand love." What? What?
It just writes itself.
Yeah. This is somebody took ayahuasca, forgetting they were still on cocaine and mescaline, and that's how you got that line.
No, that is Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Oh, correct.
That's another film. So they go back, right, to the restaurant.
Wait,
Chad,
hold on. Were you explaining to me that was a movie?
Just
I literally have a tattoo from
film.
that movie. Sorry. I just need to make sure. I'm not that straight edge.
Well,
okay?
I did not know you had a tattoo of that.
Yeah, I have loathing on my foot.
Interesting.
With the bats.
Well, I don't know every aspect of your body, unfortunately.
All right, this is time for a new segment I like to call "Boys, Please Stop, Don't Fight Over Me," where I quiz you both on Jake trivia. No, okay, we'll move on. We get the introduction of Fuzzy Tomato, FT.
FT.
I don't like that name very much.
It's just given.
Yeah.
I mean,
so I don't really have anything else.
I think like with a name like FT, it should be Fuzztard.
Fuzztard.
No good.
Yeah, this show's super PC.
After making fun of fucking Thumb Guy, God, I feel so guilty. Wait, so that Grumpy Cat, right? Grumpy Cat's name is Tartar Sauce, but they spell it T-A-R-D. And tartar sauce is with a T. And so I was like, you fucks used to call that
How the fuck
porn...
do you know what its name is?
Because it bothers me that they used to call that cat retarded and they'd call it a tard. And then it became hugely famous. They're like, we got to backtrack. We got to retcon this and figure out a way to say this without being incredibly ableist.
Oh, dude.
Yep,
Someone's very passionate about Grumpy Cat.
Not for Grumpy Cat, disability rights, but it's a different thing. You know,
So-
you knew that if you had a heart and conscience. But you're a Star Wars fan, so you don't know about logic.
So this is basically Tara having a conversation with Gomez in the basement or in the laboratory. You come across FT. Then you have Chad going back to the restaurant,
Yes.
right? And then he talks. That's when you find George Clooney.
well, then he goes out and goes to the Win-A-Date. Well, yeah, he's there first,
Right.
but then they go to the
Yeah, so then you meet George. What the fuck we call George Clooney?
Bat Nipples.
Bat Nipples. So you meet Bat Nipples, and his fucking hair. That hair though, man, I almost got lost in that hair.
Dude, it's like a helmet.
It's no good.
It is. It's like a hat, and then he has a hat on top of the hat.
Yeah. Oh, fun fact: in the Attack of the Killer Tomatoes pilot episode, the cartoon, the kid is wearing a helmet and then takes off the helmet. He's got a hat. Doesn't make any sense. You can't see the hat underneath the helmet. What is that?
Did you happen to notice that when they see fucking MC Hammer at the restaurant, he is wearing a VTW hat?
He wears that in the show too.
Veterans of Tomato
Veterans Tomato War.
Veterans Tomato War.
Can we talk about how that guy is basically Murdoch from the A-Team?
I could see the correlation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
So we skip along a little bit to Chad finding Bat Nipples at the Win-A-Date with Rob Lowe, which ties into last week's episode, Lost Boys. Still fuck you, Warner Brothers. And let's move on. Did you like that scene? I thought that scene was fun.
Yeah.
By modern standards, not PC, but by old standards, it's fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It definitely sells the point of what kind of character Bat Nipples is.
Yeah.
Right? He's that
sleaze.
Very stereotypical, like, hey, ladies, check me out. You know,
he's the Zach Morris of this movie.
Oh, good call.
Dude, we should have called him that instead of Bat
Yeah.
Nipples. I think it's actually way more appropriate.
Yeah, it's funny because going back and watching some old Saved by the Bell, I'm like, he is such a fucking prick. God damn it, I hate this dude.
Yeah.
I remember watching it as a kid. I'm like, oh, Zach Morris is so cool. And then you're like, God, dude, he is a cock.
Did not age well.
No.
So then we cut to the scene where Tara comes in from the rain while the one dude's being like, bippity boppity boopity, I'm making a pizza pie. And she's like, hey, dog, how about I fuck your face off? And he's like,
that was crazy.
What?
She said something like, I can cook so many meals, and do you want a blowjob?
Right. She said, yeah. She goes, maybe a blowjob? Iron your pants?
And then he screams no.
What is that?
I don't get it.
This guy is honorarily Sammy from the last one. Just be gay. If a woman that pretty comes in and is like, I'm going to give you a blowjob while ironing your pants, there's one answer.
While making toast. Don't forget that.
Oh,
toast is very important.
Toast, eggs, bacon, toast.
So she goes back to his place. You got Matt or Bat Nipples or Zach Morris. He wakes up and finds her in the shower, which is cool. No boobs.
Well, you kind of
see a little
boobs.
bit.
You kind of it's a boob silhouette. I give it a 6.5 out of 10.
Out of 10?
On the boob scale.
No.
Dude, come on.
Her
It's a
boobs
boob silhouette.
themselves are solid, but you can't say that looking through the wrinkled glass is a 6.5 out of 10 on this show.
Damn,
Get
dog.
your
Whoa.
own show.
Wow. I didn't know
He's
it
got
was
some high
strict.
standards.
Apparently so.
What?
Well, I mean,
You
he
really
is elitist. He is a Star Trek fan.
Moving on.
Again with the shade.
They establish that she's not normal and she's pouring granulated soap and is fascinated by it.
She fucking Bat Nipples points out that she has dirt, soil.
The fertilizer in the shower.
Yeah, in the fucking shower.
Which he didn't notice while he was in
I like the
bathroom.
little quip they do. Was it? She's very organic.
Yeah, he said she's organic, yeah.
That was good. I like
And
that.
I like that it's Clooney defending the guy who's like, oh, I just had sex with this girl, but now I'm repulsed by this. And he's like, come on. You should probably still dick her on the regular. And let me watch. Moving on, Gangrene sends Igor out to find Tara. We find out that Igor is the fake news anchor man. And Brian, do your impression of him because you did it spot on when it comes to, am I too pretty or whatever?
Yeah, where it was when you first get introduced to him and he's talking to Gomez and he's like, oh, you know what? They're not going to believe that I'm called Igor. I need to act a little, more Igor-like, I guess. How can I portray this and make it sound like it through the fucking airwaves?
Here, you do the voice and I'll do the sound effects on the table. Ready?
No, I don't know.
So I'm going to do a drag. That's how you limp on audio.
You're putting me on the spot, man, and I don't like it.
my too pretty now, master. Hey. But Brian doing it's funnier because Brian doesn't do schlappy, schlocky shtick every time.
Yeah, I probably would have butchered it because you put me on the spot.
Whatever. It's not like we have the lights on and we've been podcasting for an hour and 5 minutes. You blitzkrieged me. How would I have ever known?
Shit.
I was supposed to perform. All of life is a stage, Brian. You should know that.
Did you happen to notice that George Clooney has an earring?
No.
No, I know.
He has a single earring in his left ear.
Is it golden?
It is a gold earring.
This movie makes a lot more sense because it feels like it's stepping into the Twilight Zone. Golden Earring. The band Golden Earring did Twilight Zone. What about Radar Love? What is wrong with you people? This is gold. This is gold in earring.
Moving on. Yeah. So okay. One thing I noticed, I think Bat Nipples mentions, because Chad's complaining about how weird Tara is, right?
Not this producer Chad, but Chad Marty.
Right. Yeah. Matt says, and I remind you, Michelle's watching this with us, or with me. He says she's sexy, she's smart, she cooks, and she cleans. She's the perfect woman. And she just has the most pissed off fucking look in her face.
Like, my wife is currently watching
God.
Aquaman in the other room, and I'm pretty sure she could be like, oh, he's got fucking $1 million and 6-pack abs. He's a perfect man, so whatever. Me too.
She's sexy, she's smart, she cooks, and she cleans. That's all I need, woman. Yeah.
Is that where you just looked at her and you were like, what?
I said perfect one.
They got the list right there. I mean, am I supposed to argue with that?
Maybe we should rewrite our vows, Michelle.
Good. Not going there.
Oh, God. So then they have a montage about their relationship, which is so adorable, to the song Touch Me There. And they go to an adult bookstore and she's looking at the whips. The montage with the mime is probably my favorite part of this whole movie.
Oh, it's so good.
If there's a slay of the game for this movie, it's with the mime who just keeps showing up in this montage, ultimately ending up in the sex club with them, and he punches him in the face. It's like so amazing. And then
doesn't he end up on the beach?
So good.
Yeah, you're like, oh, dude, this is a running joke, and I appreciate it.
So good. They end up at the end of the montage going into like a food store thing, and they find out that there's the guy who's doing a black market.
Black market tomato.
Exactly.
It's funny how he it's almost like they're doing like Coke. He's like pouring a little dab on his like finger. Salt, he's like, here, try some.
And so then, the Marty ends up telling Tomato Pie, like, yeah, you did the right thing. Like, I should call the FBI or FVI for the vegetable investigation.
Yeah.
And she's like, how could you? And she storms off. And then they go to dinner, having reconciled, and they haven't reconciled, and they're fighting at dinner.
That's a strange kind of switch between her just fucking being super pissed off because he's a vegetable eater and she's a meat eater, and she storms off, and all of a sudden it's like her all done up, all fucking.
Yep.
Yeah, and they're going to Jake's Fate restaurant.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
It's like a vegan restaurant.
Scene, right? Is it vegan? Because he talks about meat though, and he offers her a hot chili dog.
Yeah, but it's all sarcastic and like condescending because she doesn't want to eat any vegetables, and all they're serving is vegetables.
I did notice that they were ordering the turnips, right? But then
right. One thing that I noticed is that with her hair and the fucking sweet ass 80s look going on, she looked like a fucking lioness.
Yeah.
Right? That hair was huge.
But not like Amanda Nunez, who is the lioness.
No.
Who looks very different. She looks like my friend Sandy with a 6-pack.
I didn't even think about that. It's totally true.
Yep. So we move on. The scene. I'm going to wrap it up because the scene is a useless filler scene. He goes off. And then the music, the violinist comes up and plays a violin. She turns into a tomato, They all
Everybody
see the tomato,
runs out and screams.
It's a tomato. It's a killer tomato, even though it's just sitting on a plate doing nothing. And then the chime on the grandfather clock comes back. She turns back into a person. He meets her there. Bada boom. Igor tries to do a chase scene. This is the first breaking of the fourth wall where he's like,
so
hey,
good.
lady, have we had a chase scene in this movie yet? She's like, 20 minutes in and no chase scene.
Wait, you forgot one of the best scenes.
Well, then by all means do it, brother.
You forgot about the news anchor when he's interviewing the lady.
Right.
Yeah,
the real news anchor.
That's it.
Oh, when he's like,
you know, it's funny because it's homage. I'm still trying to figure out how the fuck to say that word. Anyways, it's paying tribute to the original film, right? Where he talks about he interviews the lady and she's like, my husband, I don't know where my husband is, and he's like, well, because he fucking died. And she's like, oh, I can't find him. And he's like, well, are you gonna remarry? And she's like, well, he only just died. He's like, I don't know if you can remarry because you're ugly as shit.
Yeah, he's just like, what, you're eating by yourself? What? It's time to move on. What? Someone like you should have found someone by now.
And then he looks down at her feet and he calls her a fat cow.
Yep.
Can't
believe I forgot that one. That is a good scene.
All right, now you can really go on.
Perfect. So one good joke too that I forgot is the valet brings Igor the wrong fucking garbage.
He's like, that's not my dumpster truck.
Yeah.
That's not mine.
And then so he crashes the dump truck, and that's the shortest chase scene that you're ever gonna see. We cut out. It's back to the apartment. FT falls out of a window because reasons. Tara, Tomato Pie, chases him out. He's been bouncing around, bounces down a manhole cover, bounces up a manhole cover, goes into an ice cream cart, comes out. The kid licks him. He's chocolate. It's awful. He throws him. He gets hit by a car. I mean, this is baby's day out. I'm having flashbacks to Mr. Magoo or whatever. But then he ends up at a storefront, and there's a sign, and it says like "homeless is the new look," and I was like, Zoolander, it's derelict.
Yeah, I immediately thought of just we're the fucking basically hipsters nowadays.
Yep.
It's like they're telling the future.
And so they end up saving FT.
So at this point, does it go back to Igor meeting up with Gomez? I feel like he's talking to Gomez because the only reason I say that is because in my notes, I literally have Chase after FT, Chad, Matt, and Tara. Did Igor just do the Hitler salute?
Yes, and he does, and it's during the scene where Gangrene fucks up the Mr. Potato Head. And he's like, I always get the eyes wrong, and you think he's obviously turning a tomato into a person, but he's just doing a Mr. Potato Head.
He smacks his chest and then does the Hitler salute. Yep. It's really creepy.
Not good. We get to a point where they're arguing over budget cuts, and George Clooney, while he's still getting his makeup refreshed, is like, we should do product placement. It's the 80s. And this is where they do.
It's so good.
Okay, so there's O. Henry, Kellogg's Corn Flakes, Pepsi Cola, Crunch Bar, Moosehead Beer, Foster's Beer, Crest Toothpaste.
All the crew member in the back are reading Playboys.
Oh, so good.
And they're lifting up the Playboys so you can see them in the background. It's so good.
And then you end up with Honda of San Diego. I mean, this is one of the more clever bits of it's very Monty Python.
Yes, absolutely.
Getting to the point of being like, oh, we've run out of money is very much Monty Python and the Search for the Holy Grail.
Right.
Because it gets to a point where the movie just ends because they just ran out of money. So that's kind of what when you're watching this, you're like, oh, they did something new. That's fun.
And I'm pretty sure at some point, cowboys fight ninjas.
Cowboys fight ninjas. Karate people come in. Oh, I have a whole thing here.
The dude's still brushing his teeth.
The Black Army Man. It starts with the Black Army Man.
Who's Gaddafi?
Steve, yeah, asking for falafel, and you're like, whoa. He can say it because he's black, but if we tried, hey. So then they all fight. Then Chad just kicks him out of the restaurant, and they just leave.
Yeah.
Okay. Turns out that the guy is Sam, the master of disguise from the voiceover in the beginning, and he works for the FBI.
He was from the original film.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you have Bat Nipples or Zach Morris.
Yeah.
He plugs goobers.
Scuba Dude.
Scuba Steve. Scuba Steve.
Stinky
I
Diver.
want my own ass. Yeah.
It's called Stinky Diver.
Stinky Diver.
Kablam?
Kablam, yeah.
Hell yeah. Not only did I hell yeah. I'm a G. And check this out, Brian. Stinky Diver, you've been down too long in the midnight pee.
Now, is that the original or is that the?
Dio's been doing a cover the whole time.
It's got to be Dio. So
yeah. So we keep going. Blah blah. Chad finds tomato pie eating plant food, and he's like,
he like runs off. Right, he screams, she screams, and they do like the fun little back and forth kind of thing, which is really fun.
But they overdo it.
Right. Of course. He runs off. He ends up following Igor, and then Igor goes to the waste removal place or whatever.
He finds out that it's toxic waste and not acid. Thanks, Rob.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
So
I really like how I mean, they're laying it over thick here, but it shows the kid fishing. Yeah. And then he picks up
it's a skeleton of a fish.
It just reminds me of something you see in cartoons.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
So then it's Chad looking for Tara with bat nipples, and they're like yelling her name. They end up in the health food store, and he's like, Tara! And then they make a Streetcar Named Desire reference, and George Clooney's like, Stella! What is this movie?
You know what's funny is I thought he said Stella, but I'm like, nah, that doesn't make sense. He was yelling Tara.
Yeah, that reference was super old even at the time this movie came out, so wow. Then they find the storeroom of tomatoes, blah, blah. Here's fun. Remember this? When they're watching Frankenstein on the TV, and the actor in the Frankenstein on TV keeps repeating himself.
About the laboratory.
Yeah. To get the idea to how to fix Tara.
We're reanimating something in the laboratory, in the basement. Come on, you fucking moron. That's pretty good.
So then you find out, so Chad gets the bright idea, and he goes over to Bat Nipples' room, and he's like, hey, let's get out of bed and go do this. And there's a lady in a, what do you call it, a lacy bodice. And George Clooney, rightfully so, is like, I'm going to get mine. I chased this vegetable girl around this town all day. I'm going to get mine.
You know what's funny is I think they should have gone when he says, well, I saved your life multiple times. There should have been some sort of like flashback.
Okay.
Something quick. It doesn't have to be, like a 10-minute scene of something, but something where it's like fucking Bat Nipples like drowning or almost drowning in a river or something, and him pulling him up.
Rob, give me 2 ways that Chad saved Bat Nipples' life. I'm going to count down. You get 10 seconds for each idea, starting now.
Whoa. Chad saves Bat Nipples' life.
He says he does it twice. You're at 5 seconds.
I hate it when you put me on the spot like this.
I thought you loved this film.
It's almost like you've never thought about it at all.
It might be like I've never thought about it at all.
I'm resetting the shot clock. You get 10 seconds. Give me 1 way that he saved Matt's life.
Wait.
I said he basically almost died in a river drowning.
Okay, so Brian gets 1. Now you have 10 seconds to say, as a prequel to this film, how Chad saved Matt's life, which will justify him getting out of bed with the lacy bodice and going to some fucking creep's basement.
If you want, I can give me a lifeline. I'll give you another.
Lifeline.
Okay. Basically, Bat Nipples uses too much Aquanet on his hair. He catches his head on fire, and Matt puts it out, or Chad puts it out.
That's way better than anything I could have thought of.
That's fun.
Wow, Jake seemed a little unimpressed there.
No,
go ahead. What do you have to say?
No. It's not that I'm unimpressed. It's just we have to give him the opportunity to learn and grow for himself. If we don't do this, he's never gonna leave the nest.
I like how Jake's bringing the dad shit in here. It's good.
Yeah, I'm a papa of a 1-year-old.
Papa
blows my mind. Anyway, moving on. They plug the Honda of San Diego. They get to the laboratory. They follow Doc's process to animate the tomato. They get Carmen Miranda, the fucking Chiquita Banana lady, on accident. Then it gets to a reverend. Then it gets to Michael Jackson. Then it gets to Miami Vice. And then it gets to this awesome Amazon woman.
Wow. Then, for those of you who have the video.
Trying to make it worth your time.
Pretty intense.
They get caught by Dr. Gangrene. And Rob, then what happens?
He squishes the tomato.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's about it. He squishes the tomato. He's like, check this out, motherfucker. Well, I guess you're gonna die now, so puts it on a little shot clock. He's like, you get 10 minutes and then you're going to become a tomato. How about them apples?
Yeah. Well, no, this is before, right?
Oh, son of a bitch. It would come eventually.
Because they get put in like some weird storeroom and Tara's there and she's just fine. Remember that?
Oh, that's yeah. Okay, that's before, and then it goes to that.
Why were they? I get the joke is supposed to be like they thought they were going to reanimate this tomato, and it was just some random tomato, but still super weird. Then you're right. It goes to the shot clock.
It's cool because I feel like every week Brian fucks up and says this is when this happens, and then Jake says, "Well, actually, this is when this happens," and I'm like, I'm an idiot. So,
but it's a very Machiavellian kind of like Joker style plot, and then he leaves conveniently, just like a comic book hero would do, which foreshadows bat nipples.
True. Yep. Absolutely.
So then we move on. We get Wilbur the FT gets the message to Wilbur because they have to save him from the gas chamber thing, and then you get the black guy in a blonde wig. You get Scuba Steve. There's this weird scene of Gangrene spinning a globe that's painted weird for no reason.
Yeah, I was wondering why the globe was painted like that.
I think it's so great. In the first film, the black guy who's the master of disguise has a white nose.
That's so good.
And they're like, clearly, this guy is the master of disguise. And you're like, oh, that makes perfect sense.
So as they're standing in front of the scoreboard, they say, this isn't a game. And that's a great joke in itself. And then they literally call a timeout. Another great wall breaker. I thought that was fun.
So
meanwhile,
that's another Zach Morris.
Yep, that is.
Yeah, definitely. Meanwhile, all MC Hammer had to do is take off his stupid fucking parachute just once. But instead, he was wallowing in his fucking parachute trying to hit the buzzer.
Pisses me off so much.
It really does a trick, though, because you're thinking, God, take off the fucking parachute the entire time. And that's what you're supposed to think.
I don't know. I don't mind it. It kind of reminds me of like an 80s pro wrestling gimmick. Like you could totally see the guy who would like wear that to the ring. Maybe not in the ring, but to the ring.
Maybe Owen Hart needed one.
Oh, wow.
Too soon?
That's like saying Chris Benoit's family just had to tap out.
Oh no.
And then it's like tying it back to the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers by saying Jesus didn't tap.
God, that got dark real quick.
I tried to liven it up by bringing in Jesus because we're all going to hell.
Okay, yeah.
FT throws himself on a fucking grenade, blows up, and there's fur everywhere, but then he doesn't blow up because he lives. Then, Robbie, you can suck my nuts because we don't get a Star Wars reference. Oh no, my friend. We get a Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan reference when they are touching through the glass. You are now and have always been my friend, Jim. Suck my nuts.
I mean,
I'm done with the episode.
You can tell Jake's put some thought into that.
Well, he's probably been waiting a while just to say that. He's been saving that. But let's put it this way.
That's my favorite note.
Let's talk about where Star Trek references are in movies and where Star Wars references are in movies. And you're talking about Return of the Killer Tomatoes has a Star Trek reference, but how many great movies have Star Wars references?
None.
None?
Really?
None movies. Except for Leprechaun in Space.
There's a whole movie that spoofs Star Wars because it's so good.
Space boners, something like that. I've never heard of it.
Yeah, space boners.
Not worried about it. So anyway, the movie ends pretty abruptly. Tara by oh wait, what?
Oh, no, I just want to see if he caught something at the end of the movie.
When she bites.
Go on.
The killer carrots.
No. So remember in the beginning of the movie when they're telling Zach Morris to change the channels and he's tossing the pizza dough.
Oh, yes.
And he tosses it up in the air and you're waiting for it to come back down.
Oh, and it smacks him in the head.
Finally tie it in.
And
that's an awesome
and it comes back down at the end of the movie.
As they're doing the fourth wall breaking, saying that they tied everything else. But also, because you dramatically paused the train of thought, I looked back through my notes to see if I missed something, and I did. A second Star Trek reference.
Oh my God. Just what we
He's dead,
need.
Jim. He's dead. They say when Wilbur is killing Teddy and calling the SPCA after he says, "Danger, Will Robinson." You're welcome.
Guess what? Guess what? Guess what?
Chicken butt.
No, this is where you say what?
I'm not gonna do it. This is my show. I don't have to pull a Stone Cold. I don't want to.
Star Trek is still garbage.
Wow.
There wouldn't be a Star Wars without Flash Gordon and a bunch of other movies that George Lucas ripped off and an editor saved on the floor of the 11th hour.
How about this, guys? Totally changing subjects. 6 milk bottles and a tuning fork. Do you remember when he said that was when Gomez Addams says that to Tara about her sex acts?
Oh yeah, he says it to Chad, making fun of him, saying like, "Yeah, you'll never know what she can do with 6 milk bottles and a tuning fork." So then we find out that Matt has secretly absconded with all of these tomato babes, and that's what you were seeing at the beginning was his beach party with the tomato babes, and then it cuts to black. Credits roll, and at the end you get killer carrots that are made up like Rambo
that never come to fruition.
Never comes to fruition, but it's post-credit scene, so that's, I mean,
it's always fun.
I always dig those.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even before Marvel, I think the best one ever is Frank Langella in Masters of the Universe when he says that he'll be back as Skeletor. He didn't come back.
I gotta be honest with you. After 3 hours and so many minutes of Avengers Endgame, I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to sit through all the fucking credits for some bullshit after the fact.
I'm wearing an adult diaper. Y'all can suck my nuts if you smell a smell. Go buy some more popcorn and put extra butter on it.
Especially Jake's vegan smell.
Oh no! Oh God!
It's like chili.
Oh my God!
Like a savory chili. Shall we move into fan questions and commentary?
Let's do it.
Not many people had shit to say about this, but they had shit to say in general. Nerd Flanders, our friend Ash, from over at Copulators Die First. Give them a listen. They're on the Crap Ass Little Podcast Network. They just launched their new logo, emblem.
I really like it.
It's pretty dope. Cool. I had said that they should call it Ghost Fierce because fierce is a term that they use in the gay community, and it's Ghost Face, but I move on. She asks, if you yell into a vagina, does it echo? Now, this is coming from a woman who both has one and eats them. So I don't know how I can politically correctly answer this. So Brian and Rob.
See, I don't know exactly. You say both has one and eats one, but would a relationship technically be where the other partner eats only and she does not?
Oh,
I don't know. I don't know the specifics. So she could technically be like, I honestly have no idea.
That's
right?
We're going to the question of the echoing because I could go for days on this other topic. But I realize I really shouldn't. If you yell into a vagina, does it echo? Yes or no?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes, and I know what it echoes back.
What does it echo?
Star Trek sucks.
Oh no.
So I guess we have a quorum. It is resounding yes that vaginas echo.
I like how upset he sounds.
We move on. Our good friend Squints1984 says, thank you for getting me to rewatch this movie and reminding me why it's been 20 years since the last time I saw it. He asked us to talk about product placement, which we already do. And then he posits the question, which is the worst Clooney film? This or his Batman movie?
Batman.
Batman.
Yep.
Resounding answer there. Batman.
Irredeemable.
Yeah.
Phantasm 420. With all the horror movies being rebooted, do you think that Attack of the Killer Tomatoes would be a successful remake?
Yes. Absolutely.
The
reason for is, at least for me personally, I always feel like they need to gore things up. If they can somehow include violence into this film, like actual violence, oh, it would be amazing.
Like something super gnarly. Yeah, I could see that. Anything's going to be better than Critters, a new binge. Am I right?
Right.
Right.
Imagine like some sort of like telekinetic powers from the tomatoes that make people's heads explode.
Scanners?
Exactly.
We're doing scanners with Michael Ironside? Yes, I would watch the fuck out of that movie. It's just a movie where people get put into a room one after another. And there's a tomato on a table that just quivers a little bit and somebody's head pops. And the next guy comes in like a piece of cattle that doesn't know it's about to get railgunned in the head. It's like, what's going on here? Oh, right. It's a tomato. Am I supposed to eat the pa?
And they don't even bother cleaning up the walls. It's just brain matter everywhere. And they just walk in like, what's going on here?
Is this like some kind of Jello mold?
Is there tomato sauce on the wall?
Erica, Stay Creepy, hosts her own podcast. It's delightful. She asks, what's your favorite sub-genre of horror? I'd like to know both of your responses, if you don't mind.
I don't have one. It's horror or nothing. Sorry about it.
I also realized I didn't say Erica's podcast, which is Horror Movies and Chill. I wanted to make sure because we're also good friends with Stephen King and Chill. So
honestly, the two types that I really watch. I mean, we've delved into sci-fi, right? Which I feel like is kind of a sub. It's not because it's like sci-fi is its own entity, and
then it's a subgenre of horror in the sci-fi.
Right, exactly. Yeah. That's, I guess, the closest thing to it. Comedy,
that's
and mine. Horror, but you can have them both at the same time, right? Just like you can have a sci-fi horror, you can have a comedy horror, I guess. Yeah. So 4. There's comedy, straight comedy. There's horror, straight horror, and then there's the subgenres of the two.
I agree. Rob, you got a better one?
I mean, when you're talking subgenres, are you talking like slashers, zombies? Like, are you talking supernatural? Like
anything? I mean, I just said horror comedy because Chad is offering erotic. Have you ever heard of the Repenetrator, Chad? That's your homework assignment. It's Burning Angel Films. Am I not mistaken?
No idea.
Oh, I think it is. I think I'm right. I think I've seen it. I don't think I came to fruition, if you would say, but yeah.
I don't know if you can look that up on that laptop. It might be a work laptop. NSFW.
Nope. So what's your favorite subgenre? Bearing in mind that it could be literally anything because nobody gave us any rules and it's our show and we say you could do whatever the fuck you want.
Okay, well, I'll go with like horror comedy, because I love movies like Return of the Living Dead and.
It's funny. He says
Repenetrator 2004.
He says he likes
Joanna Angel
horror comedy, but he still hasn't seen Blood Diner.
What a fucking cuck! You voted for Donald Trump, you cuck. Just kidding. I like you. You're my friend. Even though Star Trek's better than Star Wars.
Whoa! Let's not say things we can't take back.
I don't have to.
I
bought it. I took the receipt. I threw it away.
As he slams down his fist onto the table. This is my show and I'll say what I want.
I love Star Trek.
You know what? I'll sell you. Live long and prosper, my friend. Peace and long life. Just do you, man. If you want to be wrong professionally and like Star Wars, that's fine. You can do it. It's your prerogative. But my question to you, given that you're a quote-unquote super fan who hasn't listened to every episode and watched every movie, do you have a last action line that you'd like to hit the fellow listeners of Slashers Pod, the Slashers Podience, the Mutant Goons from Beyond with?
May the Force be with you.
May the cucks be with you, he says. Brian, is it time for your line?
Yeah, man. If you're not watching him dying, you're not really trying.
And for Brian, for Rob, for producer Chad, for the Trekkies and Trekkers all across this goddamn globe and every other globe in the cosmos, I am Jake, your faithful host, reminding you to go out there and do something you love. And remember that all work and no power play makes Jack a dull boy.